Hello, this is your host Akhil Navluri, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Techospace podcast series. So, in this podcast episode, I'm very much honored and thrilled to welcome a guest who happens to be based out of Lisbon, Portugal, the Iberian region. Now, giving an insight about him, he's Mr. Nuno Costa, the head of Mendix business unit of Bool company, that's also based out of Lisbon, Portugal. Now, shedding some light about the Bool company, a company that's completely into the IT services and IT consulting, who's completely specialized into different low-code, no-code platforms. I mean, they also have the specialization with respect to Mendix, but along with that, they cover all the other low-code, no-code platforms, and along with that, they are completely training focused, providing the best training for their employees. And having said that, they go with a very, very nice objective and a motto that says push it forward, which means bringing the best of talent from their pool of people and the employees. So, no, it gives me a huge honor and privilege to welcome you to this podcast episode. So, I'm really looking forward for this conversation that I'm going to have with you. So, I mean, you're the first person who I'm going to be, conversing from Portugal. So, a lot of, Portuguese insights, I believe, from this podcast episode. So, I just want to know, like, how are you doing and how are the things in Lisbon at the moment?
Yeah, hello and thank you. And thank you from my side. It's also an honor to be here. So, really pleasure to for this talk and let's see how it goes. So, yeah, also thank you from my side and hi.
Amazing, amazing. So now, Nuno, the time here in India is 5 6 p.m. So I believe at in Lisbon the time is 11:36 a.m. Right? So at the stroke of
Exactly.
the absolutely. So at the stroke of the hour, let's kick off with our podcast segment. So Nuno, give me and our listeners a complete walkthrough about your journey in the IT space.
Yeah, okay. So a long journey, I would say. I'm not so old, but I would say some quite experience. So yeah, indeed. So I have I would say a different path from my, let's say, my colleagues from my area. I'm starting from the design area. So my degree in school was related with graphic design, and it was where everything just started. So I started as a designer, a graphic designer. I did a lot of websites for a lot of big companies here in Portugal. But soon I also started to get this, let's say, taste feeling about programming, about coding. And I slowly start this transition from design to programming. And I would say after 20 or 20 something years, that's where I am right now. It was a smooth, with some, let's say, investment on my side, but here I am. So from design to programming. Not sure if you want me to talk right away a little bit about this journey or, but it's a different path, I would say it.
Awesome, awesome. I mean, that's a complete different part. Now, I'm very much inquisitive and very much curious to understand that, like, what were the websites and that you were working on for the development and all.
Well, I did a lot of websites, a lot for big companies here. I will not mention those companies
All
or
right.
those. Yeah, but I did a lot. I was the first one doing a lot of things here in Portugal regarding websites. I did some officially big brands here in Portugal. I would say 20 years ago, something like that. I also worked on a big, let's say, TV station, where I did a lot of also multimedia and design, but everything around multimedia, even CDs, interactive CDs, a lot. And that was, I would say, around 20 years ago. So.
Oh, I mean, that's interesting. I mean, having that multimedia background. Now, you just had this background in graphical designing. Like, what actually pursued you towards programming? Like, who actually suggested you that?
Yeah, so I would say the main reason was really the taste. It was a little bit of passion also. So from the design, I always had this passion about coding or to understand how we could do things along also with the design. So it was not just to bring a layer of some layout. But a little bit what's behind or what we can do behind also to combine with the design, and that was a little bit the passion or the let's say the trigger for me to also start investing a little bit. Obviously, with some help with some colleagues, and I did this journey also with other colleagues that were also designers at that time, and slowly I've been going from this design to programming, slowly until the moment that I completely turn for the programming area. But I would say the trigger was really the passion, or the
Awesome, awesome.
motivation was the passion. Yeah.
The best things that you could that a person can actually desire or make a difference is a thing that's come from inside, an inner calling. So for you, I would say that's your passion that's has made you to do a lot of programming and make a mark there. Now we're going to talk more about your you making a mark now as we proceed further. So like tell me about this, like how was that transition from going all the way to all the way from designing to web development and all the way to Mendix. So, what are the key differentiating factors that you have found during this transition?
Well, it was a lot of effort on my side, so that it's not an easy transition. Okay, so you need a lot of knowledge or to understand a lot of things, and even some concepts that we are not aware as a designer. So, and yeah, there was this big investment from my side personally. So I did a lot of, let's say, searches. I did a lot of so I invested a lot of my time, let's say my personal time, to invest on this. Um, so there are some key differences, as you also are asking. So I'm not sure if I can even identify differences between design or programming, because there are completely different things. I would say the main mindset for the layout is just, let's say, user experience, user centricity, how we should put things on a layout for users to interact. But then, obviously, from the other side, the programming, we should also bring all these interaction really working, where the programming should have their focus to understand that in the end we are preparing or we are creating something for someone just to use, and we should always have in mind that we are doing something for others, and that is really the key. But this key is also for both sides, the programming or for the design. On both ways, each one will do their own part. But I would say this is one of the most key factors that we should be aware that in the end we are just developing or just creating something for someone to use, and that should be the main key. Yeah.
Got it. Now, no, if I would just like to ask you a question, like, do you feel that, the web development is also about the user experience, or do you just, correlate that only with that of Mendix and the other low-code, no-code platforms?
The interactivity, sorry, the
The user
ca- ca-
experience, the user
oh, the
experience.
user experience. In the end, again, whether uh, we are always, let's say, creating something, and this something should also obviously to fix or to bring a solution to something. We can improve processes. We can, well, it doesn't matter. So your app normally will have a beneficial for something. Obviously, this interaction or this usability, it's critical, is a key factor um, for any application that we want to create, whether this is a low code or a high code or just a paper or a flyer. It doesn't matter. So in the end, yes, interactivity, usability should always be on top of each creation.
Absolutely. So that is a core component that people have to look into, and our listeners also can completely resonate with this particular point. Now, heading on for this one. So, Nuno, can you just give me an overview, like when you were acting, or let's say when you were a solutions architect during your tenure?
Oh, solution architect. That was also something else that also came with the path. Yeah, so architect. I started doing that when I was working in Siemens. So Siemens was also the first place that I start working as a complete and dedicated programmer. So I've been moving from other companies until I got to Siemens as a SharePoint programmer, C Sharp .NET at that time. And also internally, soon there was the need on the Mendix low code department to have this solution architect role for someone. And I would say that I was the one that at the moment had the most high level overview about all applications that we were developing internally. And also with some experience that I had also before with SharePoint or with Salesforce or with other external softwares. So that where I was bringing some of these, let's say, knowledge as a solution architect, also to help some clients on some projects to also give them the best. Let's say the best approaches for their problems, and in some cases, obviously, um, there was not always the same approach or the same solution for everyone. So depending on their needs, depending on their environments, on their, let's say, key factors, obviously there was the need to bring something different for their specific projects. And that's where I also bring some of the, let's say, experience as a solution architect. Yeah.
Got it. Now, if I'm going to talk about, satisfying certain needs or let's say certain requirements. Now, what are the best requirements that, you have come across when you were working in a project? Like, you may not just tell me like exactly, who's that company, like who's the client. You could just tell me what was the domain and technically what was your take on it.
Um, you mean regarding the projects, right?
Yeah. The technical
Yes.
requirements that came about with.
So technical requirements, and I will go back here a little bit behind again in Siemens. We had a lot of different technical requirements, a lot of different integrations. Obviously, Siemens has a very big industry development, and we were obviously supporting a lot of projects. And there was a lot of different requests. So just for the industry specific topics or even for HR. So I can really remember something that just popped up with the COVID, and there was this need to bring up some solutions really fast. So we didn't really had the time to develop big products, complex products. But we had some needs regarding COVID, and there was really the need to go fast to the market and to have solutions for our employees, to have some applications, some software to to manage. And at that moment, we decided to go with Mendix, and that was at that time the best decision that was made, because we could, in, I don't really remember, but I would say in 1 or 2 weeks we could deploy, and we could start deploying apps in just 1 week. In 2 weeks we were improving the apps. So, and this was global applications that a lot of people had to use, and we could do it with low code. We did it with Mendix, and was an amazing decision, because there was so many new processes that we needed to manage, and that's where we got this Mendix, just to ramp up and to speed up everything that we had. And it was, to be honest, a big success internally for everyone.
That's splendid. I mean, as they say, right, the low code has a power of, deploying applications like within weeks or let's say within few months. Earlier, I mean, people used to work on the legacy systems that used to take like a couple of months or sometimes a year. But I think with the super wand, as I can just say super wand, Mendix, it's just making everything possible. Now, Nuno, like help me understand this. Like, what was that solution? I mean, in a one liner or in a nutshell, you could just tell me like I just came to know that you were creating a solution in the pandemic. So what was that solution exactly, focused on? Like what was it serving?
Well, I might not going to talk too much in details on those specific applications, but I can say that we had the need from the supplier perspective, we had the need to buy some stuff, especially because of the COVID around masks and things, and we
Yep.
could do it globally for all countries, and we could manage these requests to buy some material for all the company. Also, and then complementing that a little bit later, when we start also to open some a little bit when we start opening companies slowly with the COVID, we also had the need to bring up an application that we could deliver also in 1 or 2 weeks. That was for each employee to book their own seats. There was also the need for this employee to have a medical validation if they could or not to go to the office, also to manage the vaccines, if they had it or not, if they had COVID for the last whatever time. So and we could bring a lot of new processes really quick because there was this need. No one was expecting the COVID, so it was just something that just happened. And at that time we could be on the front line to say, okay, let's just start developing some apps to manage some processes for everyone to start using it, and also for the company to benefit with everything around that.
Awesome, awesome. So on a humanitarian ground of work, what I could just say is your team just did the best, and I would just say, you people have to take a bow for that because this is some kind of an innovative thing. Not innovative. I mean, it is innovative for sure, but I mean, on the situational basis, you just created the best solution. So that's really, really amazing, Nono, for that. So, Nono, like I've just come to know, let's say during one of our, earlier interactions, you told me that you were the very first person in your organization to have a complete hands-on with respect to the Mendix platform. So I just wanted to understand, like, how did this mold you into this successful, eminent industry leader that you are now?
Well, I would say it was a little bit all natural. So from each opportunity, I just took some of those opportunities, and obviously on some of those opportunities, yes, I was the first one doing a lot of specific things. I would say I was also one of the first ones start working with Mendix in Portugal, and we were managing a team in Siemens developing global solutions for all. Siemens internally. Um, I was one of the first ones also integrating Mendix with SharePoint. Well, not SharePoint. I was not the first one, but some of the integrations I was the first one, like Team Center, like Salesforce. Well, SharePoint. I also had a little bit of help on that. I don't even remember. So, but there was so we were just let's say discovering a new technology internally, and that obviously gave me a little bit of an advantage on the market regarding a lot of things. So yeah.
Awesome. Now when we talk about SharePoint and let's say Salesforce, now when we talk about this, like in your experience, do you think that it is very easy to integrate the Mendix platform with both of them, or do you think that it's going to take some time when you're a new person in the Mendix platform?
Well, to be honest, with Mendix, you can easily integrate, I would say, with almost everything. As long as we have, let's say, default protocols, we should be able to integrate. I can also, and normally I'll also normally say that one of the biggest challenges is infrastructure. So sometimes some of those systems are not on the same network and they don't have connectivity. So if we have connectivity from the infrastructure side, Yes, it should be something simple or easy to integrate. And when I say simple or easy, I can even say that we can integrate with some, let's say, certificates, authentication, where we want just not to integrate with the username and the password or a basic authentication. But in some cases, we also, and we can do it easily as a low-code platform. We can really do it, let's say, easily. Certification, basic, whatever authentication, whatever protocol, whatever system. Yes, we can quickly do it.
Amazing. Now, since you were just talking about the infrastructure, does that infrastructure mean that the data center is present on location, or does it mean that it's present on cloud? Like, which one is that?
Well, Mendix, I would say, is the only low-code platform that you can deploy your application to wherever cloud you want. Okay, so as soon as it's a container, you can deploy it. You can even deploy it for your car if your car has a container to run some software. So saying this, so Mendix can be on the public cloud, can be on the private cloud, can be on the on-premise cloud, wherever cloud or wherever container, we can just deploy it. And what happens normally is that, let's say, SAP systems, normally they are really, I would say, protected, but they are really, let's say, restricted regarding infrastructure and who and how can others access to SAP. So when I'm saying infrastructure, is sometimes, let's say that we have our Mendix application on a public cloud, and obviously we need to open some tunnels between some internal systems on a private network with an application that is running on the public cloud. So obviously, we need to be careful on some security concepts, but obviously, and again, Mendix can cover anything. So we can also bring some of these tunnels with some high security standards. So that's not also a problem.
I just feel that Mendix can go up with a beautiful slogan. Like there's a very famous shoe company that says impossible is nothing. So when it comes to Mendix, I would say that everything is possible. So
Mostly, like I normally used to say, and obviously this is just mine, but normally the limitation is not on the platform, is not on Mendix side, and this can also apply to other technologies. But I would say the limit, it's on the browser. The limit is on your phone. The limit is on the device that you are using, and that's the limitation. So if we think about deploying apps as a web app, yes, so the browser is it's the frontier. Whatever the browser allows you to do, we can do it from Mendix, obviously. We can also obviously deploy our native apps to your phone as also as an option, or a PWA or a hybrid. But let's say, so the limitation is on the device. If we want to bring a Mendix application as a native for your phone, the limitation is on your phone, and so on, so on. So I would say yes. So Mendix can really be on top of the challenges for the IT, let's say, problems normally on companies. We are now developing a lot of big and complex applications. We can even have an architecture where we can split with some modules, so not just create a monolithic solution, but Mendix can really bring it as an organized project to give answers for complex and big projects.
amazing. That's really awesome to know. And yeah, it really says that the sky is the limit. And certain times it depends on the device that we are using. Sometimes the device can give a limit, but yeah, but as we say, we just have to give our best effort to make things happen. So for sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, yeah. So now, understanding about this, Nuno, like I've just gone through through your profile on LinkedIn where I saw you have multiple certifications. So I just want to understand, like, what are the key differentiating factors that you're trying to, correlate with the certifications which you have done in Mendix and with the certifications that you have done in the past?
Well, to be honest, I don't have much certifications on my past, besides the degree in graphic design. I had some Scrum Masters, some small things, but I would say now this journey with Mendix, yeah. So I already have some quite good certifications. So I have the expert certification, which is the highest that Mendix has. So for the expert, you need around 4 to 5 years minimum. So you need also to express a lot of, let's say, experience. But besides that, I also have the advanced. Yeah, I also become, it was not on purpose, but it just happened because I took also the certification to become an official trainer. So right now here on this region, I'm also one of the official trainers for Mendix. And also besides that is not a certification, but I would say it's a title that I'm really honored. That is the MVP title that I could achieve 2 years ago, I think. And for quite some time, I was the only one in the Iberia region, or maybe in the south of Europe. I'm not really sure. To be the only one with this title right now. And recently, we have one new MVP, which is Ricardo, is also on our Bull team. So I can also say a little bit as a part that we have the best team, we have the best resources, and also we have the best certifications on the market for sure.
Awesome. Now, Nuno, if I would just like to ask a question, let's say on behalf of all listeners, like, do you think in your experience, is it easy to, crack a certification in the Mendix platform?
Well, well, uh, well, it depends on your journey, where you want to start or how you want to start. But yeah, so you can start and easily can take the first certification, which is the rapid certification. I think this one is really easy to achieve. But then obviously, if you go a little bit further and if you want to get the intermediate or the advanced, it depends a little bit on what are your approach. So yes, training, I would say, is the best. It's the best option for you to become an intermediate or even an advanced. Rather the training, obviously, you can do it on your side, on your own, but it will take you much more time. So I would say in the end, it's just, or you invest in training to become really fast and intermediate, and you can save time, or you can invest on time just to save some money. So it's a decision for you to, or invest training or invest time. But in the end, I would really recommend for you or for everyone to invest on training, and that obviously will save you a lot of time, and probably it will also give you much more expertise that you would get with with the time.
Absolutely. I mean, time plays a major factor. Now, when I'm just asking about this one, I just heard that, in Mendix, like if you want to do a certification, a big one, you have to, have 5 years of experience. So I just wanted to, understand it from you, on behalf of my listeners, as again, I was just telling it. Like when we are talking about 5 years of experience, or let's say, major project, does that project and 5 years of experience has to be pertained to Mendix, or can it be from any other technology or any other platform?
Well, 5 years experience just to have the expert certification. I have a little bit more than 5 years of experience working with Mendix, but yes, this is also really important to bring also some other knowledge just besides Mendix. So if you think of let's say integrations or some specific problems that sometimes we might have on some projects. Obviously, if you have some knowledge on the database side, it will be a benefit for you. If you have also some extra information on server or infrastructure, yes, it will also be a benefit. So uh, I would say this knowledge, it should be also a little bit more than just the technology itself. But yeah, I would say IT is just a complex world with a lot of different factors. So yeah, I would say if you have a little bit more experience just than the Mendix one, it will bring you a lot of more benefits for your projects and for your clients.
So help me understand this. So when I'm, for example, I'm applying for a certification in Mendix, and they say how you need to have 5 years of experience. Is that 5 years, only affiliated to, working 5 years in a Mendix company, or having projects with Mendix, or can it be from any other low code, no code platform or any other technology?
No, I would say for the Mendix export certification, you should be working on them at least on the Mendix or dedicated or more dedicated to Mendix rather than other projects. So you should not apply to a Mendix export if you are, let's say, working or if you are working with SharePoint for the last 5 years. So
Got it, got it. Everything, as they say, right? Everything just starts with Mendix, and it's just the foundation of Mendix altogether. Now, now, I mean, did you get this moment of pride, no, when you just realize that you're one of the very few MVPs and one of the very reputed, official Mendix trainers in the Iberian region. Like I just feel that it's like a Mendix Hall of Fame, as they say, right? Hollywood Walk of Fame. So it's Mendix Walk of Fame. So
Well, to be honest, I'm really proud for all these achievements that I could achieve. Yeah, I can just say it's really an honor and a proud to yeah to be on this position. I'm also trying to help a lot of other people here, mainly internally on the team, so they can also achieve some of these let's say certifications and yeah, we are doing a lot of things even for the community, so not just internally but even for the community. We are doing a lot of meetups where we are also sharing a lot of Mendix knowledge, and I would say this is also a benefit for everyone on the community, not just on our internal team. um, but that's something that I'm always investing for others to also grow and to also become better, and also to have more certifications or yeah. Um, so it's also an investment on my side and on our side, but it's really an honor to have all these, let's say, titles or whatever.
that's excellent, Nuno. Now, Nuno, if we just can, talk about this particular one in Mendix, do you have this particular system where they talk about, the community leaderboard, and whoever is in the leaderboard, he gets, applauded in the Mendix event? Is that kind of a culture there?
Well, indeed, we have one for the MVP program. So yeah, we have let's say a points status where each time that someone do something for the community, yeah, we get points. Yeah, and then this is a very, let's say, friendly competition. But yeah, we have some kind of for these MVP programs. Yes, we have some points that we can earn. Um, yeah, yeah.
Awesome. So it's more like, an easy competition, not easy competition, a friendly competition where, if one person is, progressing, the other person can help him out. And you're like, okay, this is where you can, understand your areas of improvement and you can flourish more.
Uh,
What I was trying to say in the Mendix events, you have all these people who are presenting their solutions, and certain companies are talking about this is the solution, or let's say certain people are giving a speech, or they're giving a concept. So which one was the best that you came across in your entire tenure, or like recently, whatever?
I don't know. I don't know. I've been already invited for a lot of events, for Mendix events. I don't know what. Well, 2 or 3 years ago, I was talking about UX UI specifically on Mendix in Finland. I was in Madrid 2 weeks ago talking on a specific training regarding OutSystems developers to become Mendix developers. Uh, I don't know. I was also talking 1 year ago in Spain, also talking a little bit about AI and Mendix. I don't even know. I cannot choose one, but I've been invited for so many events. Yeah, last month I was also invited to be a jury on a contest in Siemens regarding a digital young generation prize. It was also really amazing. Um, I don't know. I cannot choose one.
Yeah. No, I totally understand like your contributions, and the way you have covered the concepts, and I know you have a complete treasure of knowledge with respect to Mendix. Let's say for example, there's a colleague of yours, and in the Mendix event, or that person, he's from the client
Yeah.
side, or let's say from other company, and you're I mean he's giving a speech, or let's say about a particular concept. Okay, this is the thing that we are working on in Mendix, and this is the solution that we are creating. So on those lines, did you really like anything the most, or you were like, okay,
Well, to be honest, and I was referring the meetups. Yes, a lot of let's say a lot of meetups that we are doing, they are also provided for some internal developers for our team, and they are also bringing their own topics, and we are talking a lot about all general Mendix topics. It can be Java, JavaScript, it can be AI, it can also be, I don't know, a lot of things. And normally I'm also just there on the meetups also to support them. But what I try to do always on these kind of events where some others are talking about Mendix is obviously to support them if they are on our meetups or sometime or something like that. Uh, but I try also to complement and to bring also if I think there is the need also to complement with something, and just for everyone also to understand about that specific topic. But yeah, the first it's always to support everyone that is talking about Mendix, and to be honest, that is one message that I want to pass to everyone, not just from my side, but if I have someone talking, whether it can be a colleague or not. I think the main message from Mendix is just to get for the audience, and I will try to support as much as possible with whatever I can.
brilliant, brilliant. That's a brilliant contribution from your end, Nuno. Nuno, now you're covering the different regions of US, Europe with respect to the Mendix thing. Do you ever have a plan of having a Mendix event exclusively in India or in the APAC region?
Well, it depends. It depends on the requests or the needs, or so I'm completely open for that. And there are also some let's say new markets that are now getting these Mendix, like maybe India, maybe like Brazil, maybe like other countries in Africa, or even in the north of Europe. And yes, we are completely open to go and to make some meetups on some specific locations. We are also open for some specific meetups online, but it depends a lot on the needs, on the request itself. But I would say yes, we are completely open for that.
Brilliant. I think when it comes to India, probably, or let's say in Australia, you should, you send me I mean, the tickets for the Mendix event, I would love to, be there for sure.
Let's see. Yeah, yeah.
All right, fingers crossed on that then.
By the
Awesome,
way, on
awesome.
our meetups, there are no tickets, so it's completely open. It's a
Oh,
completely free event, so everyone can join. So there are no. You just need to register upfront, but besides that, everyone are welcome if they have or not the Mendix knowledge. So everyone are completely welcome to our meetups.
amazing. So I think it's like an invitation in advance for me, and I would definitely, take this invitation forward for sure. Now, now heading on with the future, let's say, certain complexities of future, if we talk about. So we see that, as we look around, we see that there are new technologies and new innovations being launched. So having said that, do you think the platform like Mendix will survive, or does it have the potential to, integrate and collaborate with these new technologies and new products that are being developed?
Oh, for sure, for sure. I would say Mendix is really the unique local platform at the moment. Well, this is my perspective. It can there are might be other perspectives, obviously, but I would say Mendix is really the unique, let's say, best low code technology that are really updated. So what this means is that Mendix is always looking for the market or for the trends or for the IT, let's say, directions. And Mendix is really adapting fast. And I can say we have a modern architecture, we have a modern way of doing. Let's say if we have some new trends on the market or a new external systems like, let's say, like brokers, if we want to talk about brokers. And right now a lot of brokers are coming for the IT landscape. You can see it on the cryptocurrencies that you have your, let's say, rates for your crypto always updated. So brokers are doing a lot of this. So Mendix can integrate with a low code approach for brokers. I can also talk about, let's say, source control. Obviously, source control is something that I would say Git is probably the most used source control by developers. Obviously, then Mendix also adapt to that, and now Mendix is using Git as a source control. If you want also to talk about AI, so obviously right now everyone is talking about AI, and everyone is also talking about AI is going to destroy everything around IT development. But I would say no. So yes, what is going to happen in is it just happened already. So Mendix will update. So obviously AI is now also part of the Mendix platform, and obviously more and more AI will give us and help us from what we can do with the tool. So for sure, so Mendix will survive for a lot of years. So I can completely say Mendix is let's say an updated technology. So always on top of the last IT trends. So for sure, so Mendix will be here for a long time, unless that there is something on the market that can really change dramatically from one day to the other. And to be honest, IT is just moving on the speed of light, and no one knows what happens tomorrow. But anyway, I can ensure that Mendix is really the technology that are easily adapting for the needs that the market might ask.
Amazing. Now, yeah, that's for sure. Like now, since you have just mentioned a particular point stating AI, does Mendix have this, I mean, intention or let's say collaboration with AI agents? Like, does it want to go a little bit folder up, when it talks about, collaborating with AI, and that is the AI agents?
We have already Maya on our studio, so we have
Oh,
our agent, which is Maya. And obviously you can start asking and requesting things to Maya. So if you have some questions about your own project, you can ask Maya, and Maya will give you answers on some microphones or whatever. You can also now ask Maya to prepare a domain model or to create overview pages, the CRUD pages. So Maya more and more will become something important on your project. And you can right now use Maya for your benefits, obviously. You can start saying something like, yes, I want to have, let's say, a project management for my to manage my projects. Okay, so Maya will create an application based on what you asked, and Maya will create a domain model, will create the pages, will create a lot of things for you. Then obviously you can also continuously ask Maya to adapt. So, but now I need also to have, let's say, a department entity to manage people that are attached to a department or roles. And yeah, so yeah, but AI is already on Mendix, so this is already happening.
Awesome, awesome. Now, when we talk about Maya, the AI agent, do you see that, do you see certain consequences that's happening with respect to Mendix, or do you feel that no, it's going in the right direction, or does it have to be used efficiently?
Well, the main consequence is, well, if you think about high code, and then someone just bring this low code, and what was the consequence? The main consequence is that you can really speed up your projects. I don't know, 7, sometimes 10 times faster, and sometimes with less resources. And what happens now with AI and low code is that it will again even go faster, and probably also with fewer resources. So the consequence, it's simple. You will be able to go much faster. You will be able to go probably in the future with more quality. Obviously, the disadvantage is eventually you don't need a bigger team, but this is already happening with low code. So if you compare low code with high code, for a big project with high code, you will need a big team and you will need a lot of time. The same project with low code, you need less resources and you will go much faster. With AI, I would say this is just going to expand exactly on the same proportion. So, yes, probably we will need less resources and we will be even faster.
All right, all right. Now, exclude the conversation of Maya from here. Now, let's say I'm a data scientist in your team, in a Mendix team, and you're heading that. So, how would you fit me in the team, and what are the requirements that I need to do to understand Mendix as a data scientist?
As a data science, so, well, first you need to understand the tools, the concept, and obviously you need also to understand a little bit the data behind each project. As a data science, I would say is all around data, and maybe how also Mendix is managing with data, and sometimes with big data, and yeah, because Mendix can also work really good with big data. By the way, we had 2 meetups recently around big data. So how Mendix is handling with big data, but I would say something like that around data.
Awesome. I think then there's a huge potential for the data scientists also to, to pitch themselves and, venture into the Mendix platform. That's superior. Yeah, it's a ray of hope for me and for the other data scientists if they are hearing to this podcast episode for sure. Now, before we conclude our podcast segment, so no, let's take a lighter approach and a lighter route, I would say. I'm going to come up with a very simple rapid fire round that's completely all, exclusive of all the technical questions that I posed to you, or we were talking about, right? So
Okay.
yeah. So if I would like to, ask you, like, what was the last movie that you watched?
I don't know. I don't even know. I'm not a movie person. I'm not a series person. The last movie, I don't know. I don't even know.
All right, all right.
I don't know. Well, I was on the cinema the last time to see, and I was checking animation movie. Uh, what was the movie? Well, I don't remember. I don't
No worries, no
remember.
worries. I think then I'll just, consider that to be an animated movie, so no problem with the name. It's okay. So, who is your favorite Benfica player? I mean, the team that you like. Who is your favorite Benfica player of all time?
Well, the Benfica of all time, but for that one is easy. So I would say Eusebio for sure. So Eusebio. So no doubts. I even would say that for me probably is not just the best Benfica player, but I would say the best, let's say, Portuguese player. Even that is didn't born in Portugal, but I would assume him as the best player that played in Portugal. Uh, yeah. Eusebio for sure.
Amazing, amazing. Now, I know that there's a huge rivalry between Sporting and Benfica. So, how many times have you been to those derbies in your life?
Well, in supporting, I'm not sure. I've been with some with Porto, but I'm not. I don't go often to football. So I like to watch Benfica, but seated on my couch or yeah, in my home. Yeah, I don't go so often. And I would say mainly because of the ticket prices.
Yeah. I mean, the comfort of watching a match only happens to be on in the home, and yeah, that's completely for sure because you have your own luxury. You can make your own snacks, and you can just watch
Yeah.
it at your own space.
And to be honest, the prices are really high to go
Oh,
to
is
the
it?
state. And it's difficult. And it's also difficult. It's not easy because even with the highest price, there are a lot of search for those tickets. So it's not even in some matches easy to get the tickets.
Yep, completely. That completely makes sense for sure. Yeah. Now, if I would like to, ask you, like, what's your favorite cuisine of all time?
That's also a good question. I'm not sure if I can pick one. I would say maybe, well, as a bakery, pastéis de Belém. But as a favorite food, I don't know. We are a country of fish. We have a very, very good fish that we have a lot of, let's say, bacalhau. I would say maybe, yeah, I will go for the proper or the traditional bacalhau, codfish. That we also normally eat in our, let's say, Christmas dinner. So I would say, yeah, bacalhau, codfish. I would say it's the main Portuguese dish, and I really love it. So
Amazing. That's a very good choice. I would say probably I should have to, look out about that in the net for sure. Yeah. Now, what was the first football match that you have seen as a kid?
I don't remember. I think he was a Braga Benfica, but to be honest, I don't remember.
No, no worries on that. What's your favorite holiday destination in the world?
I don't know. Maybe I'm not much on Christmas holidays, not even, well, maybe the Easter. Yeah, I would say Easter.
If you're going to a place in Portugal, what is the place that you would choose to go on an Easter holiday in Portugal?
Oh, for sure, it's my homeland. So it's in the interior on the north. It's an area called Serra da Estrela. And this is where I always go in the Easter time. So that's the place to be, at least for me, obviously.
Brilliant, brilliant, Nuno. So, Nuno, thank you so much for being part of this podcast initiative and taking time from your busy schedule. honestly, the way you were just giving me a complete deep dive about Mendix, I just got completely intrigued by it, and I just got an understanding, let's say a basic understanding about Mendix. But your insights, the conversation that we had was completely ablaze. It was awesome. And I'm sure that our listeners also found it very much interesting. And listeners, if you really want to reach out to Nuno, and if you really want to take some training with respect to Mendix, don't hesitate. You could just go to Nuno. You could just type Nuno Costa on the LinkedIn, and you'll find his LinkedIn profile, Nuno Costa, and you could reach out to him anytime. He'll be there to support you no matter what. So, Nuno, the best thing that what I really liked about this podcast was, I mean, your complete insights about being a solutions architect, which you have done in your tenure, and how did you change have that transition from design to web development and all the way to Mendix, and the way you were just giving me an ideology about how it is easy to, or let's say how you need to crack a certification for Mendix. So really,
Yeah.
really, thank you once again for being part of this podcast medium. So thank you so much. No.
Also, thank you from my side. So it was a pleasure. And yeah, anything regarding Mendix, please just let me know. It was
You heard
also a
it from
pleasure,
him,
and thank
listeners,
you.
for sure. Awesome. So, listeners, before we conclude our podcast episode, this is an open request to all the industry leaders out there who will hear into my podcast. If you have any key, useful, interesting journey or any key, useful insight that you would like to share through my podcast episode or medium, you could reach out to me on my email ID, akhil.navluri55@gmail.com, or you could message me on my WhatsApp number that's present on the profile page of my podcast channel, or you could just directly DM me, which is a new option on my Instagram handle, the TechnoSpace Podcast. And whatever it is, I'm going to get back to you as soon as possible. And who knows, it's going to be you next time, the next industry leader that I will be collaborating with very soon. So on this note, this is your host Akhil Navluri signing off, and we will be back, and we would be back with another podcast episode very soon with another industry leader. So till then, take care, goodbye, stay tuned, goodbye, thank you, and au revoir. Thank you.